Greetings, gnomes and nomads, and welcome back to Castlegoat. Now, in the last episode, you saw as we were beginning work on the next tier above of the barracks area, and also finishing off a lot of work with the pastures. And in this episode, we're going to be continuing along the same vein, or at least we're going to be finishing off the pasture, possibly trying to work on the kitchen area above. We also have a mine to dig, so there's lots of things for us to be working on right now. But we can't afford to forget that we are under the ever-present threat of a Mant invasion. So with all that in mind, let's rejoin the gnomes and see how they're getting along. Alright, well, as you can see, we have made some significant progress on building up the platform upon which the rest of the barracks is going to be constructed. And currently, you can probably hear, as well as see, that our soldiers are presently wielding 2 shields. Now, I realise that might seem ridiculous, but it's going to cause their shield skill to rise quite quickly, and damn it, that doesn't sound good. Now, the only problem with their shield skill is it is much lower than their dodge skill, and I don't know if having a shield means they won't try to dodge. That is a bit of a concern for me, because their dodge skills are actually very, very high. And these are only oak shields, so we're going to have to see how this plays out, and we've already got some enemies, it would appear. Can we see them? Any enemies out there? Okay, well, we know there's something out there, so let's get everyone in. Sound the alarm. Let's switch to the Goblin slaying uniform. Zoom right in there. And as you can see, I've moved around a couple of the guard posts because I'm setting up the pillars that will... I mean, they're not really supporting the structure above, but it'll look like they are. Even if the game will let me have crazy things like floating rocks and upside down pyramids hovering in the air, I don't want that. I want it to look like it actually is structurally sound. Now then, what are we going to have? Nothing, it would appear. Oh crap, what are you doing? Oh my goodness, where are you off to? Oh, that's not good. Who is it? Elzendorf going for a bone shirt. Right, after this battle, I'm going to prioritize these so that people will go out and actually grab the stuff rather than wait. Now, what have we got? We've got a goblin fighter who's got hammers. Oh my goodness. Okay. Right, well, goblin fighter, I would like very much for the poisonous of ancients to get out there and fight you. Let's make sure you're not going somewhere stupid. No. Good. Right, next job, we would like this bell rung, so I'm going to send the gory knitters, you're off duty. Now those goblins, oh, there's more still. Well, oh my lord, there's loads of them. There's one with a giant bronze axe. Oh, goodness. Someone gave me the idea to wield the shields. They asked why I wasn't already doing that, since that was what I wanted them to train in, and it made a lot of sense. But someone also popped in a comment suggesting that when you make shields, for some reason, you're going to end up with a lot of much bigger invasion waves. And I was wondering... I mean, I've got to be honest, I'm guilty of assuming that they must have been mistaken. I figured a wooden shield couldn't possibly add that much to the Kingdom Worth, but... this seems like an abnormally well-equipped Goblin Wave. Really, really abnormally well-equipped. Right, we're going to need the rest of our fighters in here. I'm going to split the squads a little bit. Watch fortifications, you're going for him. I want 2 squads on you. So it's going to be the Eastern Shelters of Camp and the Cloaked Baths. And we'll see how this goes. Once that bell is rung, we should have a couple more people come down here. Well done. And let's get, yeah, this goblin fighter here. Let's get the gory knitters on you so we can take you out quickly. Now, good luck, everyone. This is going to be a bit of a rough battle, I fancy. Let's hope that our... ooh, what's happening? Goblin blood? Good. Let's hope that our soldiers are enough to keep the attention there. Yeah, quite a lot of squelching going on there, actually. Not too happy about that. Let's check out the events. Smashing the skull. Okay. Oh, they didn't have helmets anyway. Goblin's right leg is bleeding and artery has been struck. Goblin is suffocating. Deathbot swings his basalt hammer at the goblin, hitting the neck, smashing the worn copper breastplate. Did that cause him to start to suffocate? I don't know. Alex Slayer smashed with the basalt hand axe, slicing through the skin, cutting the muscle. That was the left leg. Goblin's right hand is bleeding. Goblin's left hand is bleeding. Okay, it looks like we're doing alright here. I'm looking specifically for... Right, there we are. I was looking for goblin attacks to see if they'd punch through any of the armor. But it looks like we're actually doing alright so far. There's a lot of blood sounds, though. Let's just have a quick glance at this. Is there only... Oh, goblin right arm there. Alright. Anything else? No, I think we're doing okay so far. Goblin has died. Fantastic work. That was the one wielding the copper claymore, I believe. So, I would like to redirect the squads who were attacking that one to the battle axe wielding, the bronze battle axe wielding one. How are you doing? Yeah, okay. Great. We should be able to win this, it looks like. Now, the nice thing with shields is that, although these shields are particularly bad and probably wouldn't be able to take much of a pounding, if a shield blocks an attack, it completely nullifies the damage of that attack, and that is remarkably loud. Okay, another goblin down. What's left? Just you, by the looks of it. Let's get everyone in there. But that is the beauty of shields, is they will completely disarm. Completely nullify the incoming damage rather than just absorb it like armor does. Now let's let everyone re-equip and then get back, because that should mean, ideally... Alright, actually you need to go back to your stations there. But ideally what I want to see is everyone at the guard stations and equipped, because that will mean that all of the bone shirts and bone helmets are in the fort. Is everyone done? I imagine we're as good as we're going to be. But now, since it is daytime, let's have a quick look for a mant. We'll start time passing. There's a honey badger there. We don't really want to fight you if we don't have to, simply because you'll distract other things if we leave you alive. Now, I did miss a mant previously. Don't worry, that's just the corpse of the last one. Unfortunately, I have undesignated the corpse stockpile whilst I get a couple of other things sorted, so the corpses are not being stored. But we've already got one mant trophy. We don't need another. It would only devalue the one that we've got. Is there a mant out here? Oh, 3 nomads, my lord! That's fantastic! That's the best Nomad Wave we've had so far, I believe. Aha! Oh my goodness, I was about to give up looking. Thank goodness I didn't. There we are. I see you there. Right, we want that thing dead. Poisonous agents, move out. Military, we want to suit up for mant slaying. So let's get that done. Now the bell has been rung, so hopefully all of the nomads will make their way straight to the Great Hall, and that's where they're going to stay. We'll kill the mant first, and then we'll equip. Then we'll sort out the nomads' names, etc. Where's our soldiers going? Is that both of them? Yes, fantastic. Okay, we'll give them a few more moments just to get a little bit of a lead. Okay, this is time to send out the whole army. All squads, attack! For glory! Well, I was about to say Spider Slaughter, but I stopped myself. Haha! I'm learning! For Castlegoat! Yes! I love watching that. I seriously really, really enjoy it. It's very satisfying to see my skeletal army marching out for war. Right. Oh, wow, you're already there. Well, yes, I should hope you've spotted him, considering you're right next to him. Alright, we'll speed up time, since this fight should go down fairly quickly. Oh, okay. What's happening there? Is there enough room for you all? Why are you going back? Really? Are you retreating because you're hungry? Wow. Let's see how this plays out. Let's check on the events. A lot of fighting so far in this episode. Mount's right arm has been mangled. What else is going on? Mount's left arm has been mangled. It has no arms. It can no longer walk. Anything else? Right leg has been mangled. Knocked back. Okay. I wonder if you can knock him back off this cliff. I imagine you can. Okay, there we go. Mount is dead. Well done, everyone. I am very, very proud of you, as always. Now, we're gonna, once again going to let everyone get back inside before I unequip them. And whilst that's happening, I'm going to go ahead and generate the names. So I shall report back once everyone is inside at the guard posts and we have the names ready for the 3 nomads. So see you in a few minutes. All right, welcome back. Now, we've got the 3 names. Let's see, where are you, nomads? Okay, we've got Jeff, Ennie, and Beld. Right, well, Jeff shall be renamed to Bobble Convolute. Alright, that actually seems like a name that this game would generate, so well done, I suppose. Next, Ennie is going to be Vastowin. Welcome to the fort. And finally, and I quite like this name, we have Beld becoming Blessed Tiger. Welcome to the fort, all 3 of you. Now, to find out what you're good at, you're fairly good at, tinkering, fantastic, engineering, farming. I was thinking that we needed to get a couple more inventors because I would very much like to begin tinkering, but the only problem with that is it would mean taking someone off prospecting. But that will neatly solve that problem. Gem cutter, oh nice. Actually, you're fairly good. Got someone who's decent at brewing there. Jewelry making, weapon crafting. Wow, it looks like we've got 2 new artisans here. But I'm not sure we need 2 new artisans, honestly. Well, you are clearly going to be an inventor, so I'll set you up now. I could set you up to be... Well, no, I want you to be an artisan because of your high weapon crafting. In fact, do I have a weapon crafting profession yet? No, I do not, but I will set one up before we make the bronze shields. In fact, I could set one up in a moment. Beld. Let's see, where are you? Yeah, you'll be an artisan as well. And Ennie is going to be a new profession. Now, someone has asked me to go over the professions we currently have, so this may as well be that time. So we have miners. And as you can see over here, we've got, they'll do mining first, building, then they'll work in a workshop, which for them will be the masonry workshop or the stone cutting workshop. Then they'll do hospital tasks and then hauling. They do have some miscellaneous craft set up. Pottery and prospecting. Really, I should have turned that off long before now. I'm surprised I hadn't. And much like every other profession in the fort, they have mechanic. That allows them to ring the alarm bell. All professions except for doctor have caretaking but not medic. The doctor has both. And all professions also have construction and hauling. So I'll only go over the things that are going to be different between the professions. Then mason is effectively exactly the same as the miner, but it has the priority for workshop and mining reversed. So a mason will work in the masonry workshops if there's any work to be done before they look for mining work to do. And the miners will work at mining if there's any mining to be done before they look to see if there's any masonry work to be done. Next, we have lumberjack and carpenter. And much like the mining profession, they have that same spread. They do wood cutting, carpentry, wood carving. But the lumberjack will prioritize working, cutting down trees before they work in the carpenter's workshop, for example. And the carpenter will do it in reverse. Now, with the lumberjacks and the carpenters, they have agriculture and groves turned on. This allows them to work with trees. For example, with agriculture, the only job they've got turned on in agriculture is horticulture, which is working with the trees, and grove for obvious reasons. Next, I won't go over carpenter because I just have. Tailor. Now, the tailors are quite different. As we see here, they work in all of the cloth working, workshops, but they also have leather working turned on. So they will turn hides into leather and will also make those into leather straps, so on and so forth. They'll work in the workshops before anything else. Pretty much this set of priorities is more or less universal throughout the fort. That is, they'll do mechanics first, that specifically so they'll ring the bell. They'll then do their primary task, so for a workshop-focused task like Tailor, which only does things in a workshop, they'll do the workshop. Then building comes usually after their primary task. So if they haven't got any of their main tasks to do, they'll see if they need to build anything around the fort. Hospital and hauling are usually at the bottom, with hospital first. So before they check a hauling job, they'll see if anyone needs to have food brought to them in the hospital, for example. I want that to be done over hauling for obvious reasons. Fleshsmith, bone carving. They also have the rancher skill. Now what they do here is butchery. So our fleshsmith, they also actually have medic as well, because I just felt that it was more fitting for like a pioneer sort of kingdom where someone who's used to cutting up bodies would also kind of know how to at least treat ones that are a bit bashed in. So they will carve bones, so they're the ones who are responsible for the skull helmets, for example. They can also make a few things like bone statuettes. They'll also butcher the carcasses, and they may pitch in the hospital if needed. But again, the hospital isn't a primary job, so that's just above hauling. They'll workshop, build, hospital hauling, with mechanic as the highest priority. Beastmaster, these are the people who tend our livestock, so their jobs, again, mechanic as per everything else. Animal husbandry, they don't butcher, they just tend the livestock. So they'll, for example, take food to the troughs, or they'll go and milk or shear the animals when it's time. So their primary job is pasture, but they also have agriculture turned on for farming. Now, what this means is if there's nothing to be done with the animals, they'll also pitch in with tending the fields. So agriculture is their secondary job there, and farm. Now, the reason why I've got agriculture and farm separate is that farm is the job of going and tending the fields, whereas agriculture is the job of foraging. If, for example, I gave the command to collect wild strawberries, if my farmers didn't have the job agriculture, the priority agriculture in there above, say, hauling, then they wouldn't do that if there was any hauling job to do, which is almost always going to be the case. So you've really got to be careful with the priorities you put in here. Now, my farmers have agriculture at the very top. So whereas the Beastmasters will tend the animals first, the druids, who are my farmers, will first check out if there's anything I've told them to do specifically. Now, this is really quite intentional. What happens here is if I've told them I want this cotton plant harvested from outside the fort, I want that done as soon as possible, because I probably will have given that order when it's daytime and I know we're not going to be attacked. So I want them out there doing that before doing things that they can do all the way through the night in safety, i.e. tending the fields. So once they've done all of that, they'll farm, and then they'll also pitch in with the pasture if necessary. So that's the druid profession. Now, doctor, really simple, just doctor. That's pretty much all they do. They've got mechanic, hospital, build, hauling. They don't work in any workshop. So Metasapia, for example, spends a lot of her time, I imagine, hauling, because there's very little requirement for her to tend the sick. Now, artisan is currently my catch-all profession, and I'm going to turn this off. Currently, they'll do smelting, blacksmithing, and metalworking. Now, blacksmithing is specifically making tools. Metalworking is like the stone carver, so making statues, that sort of stuff. They'll also do all of our gem cutting and jewelry making. Other than that, they've got the universal priorities, their jobs, so caretaking, hauling, building. They'll work in the workshop first as their primary job, and so on. Chef. Now, the chef has agriculture turned on, so they'll cook, and that's pretty much it, really, for the chef. Normally, I would have made chef and brewing much like masonry and mining, for example, where they'll do their primary job, and if they've done everything they can, they'll switch to the secondary. But because of the way that the kitchen and the distillery are both workshop jobs, that won't work with this. There'd be no way for the game to work out which one I wanted to prioritize, because there's just one priority for all workshops. So I have a separate profession for boozesmith. So the chef will work in the kitchen and then he'll build hospital hauling, so on. Boosmith, exactly the same, only instead of working in the kitchen, they work in the distillery. Now, Inventor, these guys work the prospecting booth, so they'll dig around for metal slivers in dirt or stone. And they will also do all of the jobs under engineer, including mechanic, which everyone has turned on. So mechanic still comes first, then working in the workshop. So they'll do the engineering workshop, the mechanics workshop. Now, tinkering, although it's a tinker's bench, you build it like a workshop, it isn't considered a workshop. And that's very, very important. It's very good as well, because there is always something to be tinkered with. So if that were the case, then these guys would never build, they would never work in the hospital, they would never haul, because tinkering would always be available for them to do. So as long as I had a tinker's workshop that someone wasn't working, then any inventor would always have something to do there. So this workshop here really only counts for machining, engineering, and prospecting. Then they'll check for building, then they'll check for caretaking, and then they'll check for tinkering. Once I've got the tinker's workshop, which I'm going to hope to work on in this episode, they will probably never haul, unless someone else is already working in the tinker's workshop. I don't think I'll have two for now. So that's the Inventor, basically my mechanics. Soldier, they have mechanic turned on so they can ring the bell. They also have horticulture, so that means grove and agriculture are turned on. Now the reason I've got that is because a lot of people in the comments have given me advice saying that horticulture as a job increases agility and nimbleness, I think specifically. So it makes my soldiers faster at running. So even though they're wearing armor, they'll still be able to keep pace with people who aren't. So that's the reason for that. But they spend most of their time training. So they're not really getting much use out of that. Finally, armorer. Now, armorer, much the same in these universal skills as everything else, but they specifically can do smelting, blacksmithing, and armor crafting. Now, the reason why I've got blacksmithing turned on is so that there's always a flow of metal coming through. So, for example, in fact, I actually might turn that off and just have it on smelting. Now that we've got the extra artisans, we probably don't need this. So they'll just be working armor crafting and smelting. So they'll make the metal bars, and they will also, let me just bring that back up because it went a bit weird. They'll also work in the armor shop. Now, what we want to do is currently we've got 3 artisans, but we only want 2. So we're going to make a new profession. Weaponsmiths. And I'm first going to go through this and turn most of the things off. There we go. Cloth, misc, craft, that's going to be off. Engineering, I want mechanics turned on. Ranger, agriculture, off, and medic off. That's the default there. I'll set them up to the normal uniform for them when they aren't being overridden by the military, because if they're in the military, they'll take that over their default uniform. So when they're just on the job and doing their civilian roles, they'll wear the civilian uniform by default. And we want to move mechanic up, workshop up, building next. There's hospital. Hospital after building, and finally hauling should be the last one in the queue there. So let me just check that that's the same. Yeah, there we go. So we now have a weaponsmith profession, and we are going to assign that to Fastowen. Well done. There we go. So we've now got a dedicated eventually high-skilled weaponsmith. Now then, everyone is in their current station, so what we want to do now is set them to civilian role. They should immediately drop all of their gear, and there we go. They are now free to go wherever they want. We'll cancel the alarm bell, and I also need to create a new, I believe, squad for the nomads we've just got. Sound the all clear. In fact, yeah, let's check that out. Cloaked Bath, yeah, it's got 1 vacancy. Okay, so we'll... that is an amazing name. Actually, I've misspelled it. Let me just correct that. Oops. Where are you going to be? There we are. There's an O between the 2 B's. Ah, damn it. There we are. That is a mouthful, I must confess. Now, we want a new squad. Let's see what kind of... The Yellow Lyrics. No, I don't like that one. The Enslaving Bucks. It's funny, but no. Wooden Spires. Actually, that isn't too bad, but no, we're going to keep going. The Boned Knifer of Martyr. Yes, okay, we accept. That is a fantastic squad name. Fast Owen and Blessed Tiger, you are now the new members of the Boned Knifer of Martyr. That is fantastic. We're also going to need a new guard area for you. Ooh, passed out from exhaustion. Well, I imagine a few people will, actually. They have been holding that position for quite some time. So, guard area, we'll add this in there. Guard station E, I believe we're on now. My lord. Right, now, whilst everyone is working, I'm going to pause the recording. I shall bring you back when there is something to report. Okay, a bear has just died. And the only blood I can see is the bear's. That worries me. A bear is not an easy opponent. And it usually causes at least a couple of wounds when it fights something. So the fact that that is now dead really does concern me. I'm going to risk calling everyone to their battle stations, honestly. Okay, military. Positions. Go into goblin slaying. I haven't heard the goblin invasion music, though. That panics me a little bit. That perhaps there's a mant out there. So, I didn't see one and I looked everywhere. I really spent some time searching for a mant today. So if there is one, then I'm, well, just really shows that I'm crap at this job. But let's ring the alarm bell, wake everyone up. Let's get everyone out here. Right, you guys, I would like you to stand down for a moment. Go ring that bell for me. Okay. Now take position here. Now, the thing is, if there is a mant out there, it's not going to walk to us. It's not just going to come and announce its presence. So, I'm going to need to get out there and actually have a look around. Let's set up a little guard area. Actually, if there is something up here, let's set up a patrol route. So we'll go here, down to here, across to there. Maybe a little bit higher up the wall as well. All the way up to there before coming back. Right, let's get the Poisonous Ancients out there. We're not going to set it to loop. I just want them to have a look. Good luck. If they encounter goblins, then we'll fight them. That seems the more likely option, but who knows? It could have been a honey badger, for all I know. But my main concern is just not to let a mant get off the map if there's one on the map right now. And there's no way that we'll necessarily know, but okay, it's not goblins. If it was goblins, they would already be here. This must be a mant. Either that, or it's a honey badger, or a monitor lizard. But I just don't know if there are any enemies around. Let's see. Any enemies? Where is it? Nothing that we know of. We only know that a bear has died. Oh, I wonder, is there going to be a combat log for all that? It's the second day of winter. Mant vs. bear. Damn it. Okay. Well, that is quite the panic then. We need light out here, and we need it out here really, really soon. So I'm going to set up some... I don't know when it would have left the field, though. Oh, no, I hope they haven't gotten off the map. Let's build torches. Just a couple to shed some illumination out here to make sure that we can see it. I can't believe a mant managed to get past me again. I am really, really quite disturbed by this. Right. Let's hope this mant is still out there. got to be something out there. Problem with this is that they're not going to be able to easily see it without some extra light. I don't know when the mount might leave, but it had already turned nighttime. Right, let's take everyone off this, but I'm going to keep you in your current clothes. And finally, this one. Right, get out there, please, people. Oh, no, they're all going to run away. Damn it. All right. I guess I'm going to have to ring the bell. Someone ring that bell for me. Right, please be with the planting of the torches outside. That I might see if there is still a mount. I very much doubt there is. Where are you off to? They're just going to patrol back and forth for now. Well, I think we may have invited doom to the fort.
And on that rather dire note, I'm afraid I'm going to have to wrap this episode up. So, we have failed to stop one of the mans. One of the man's scouts has scouted out our camp and left. On the plus side, if we can survive the invasion that's about to happen, it'll happen a few days after the scout leaves. It's not always the very next morning, but it usually is the next or the one after it. It'll happen in the day sometime. It's not specific straight at sunrise like the scout is, but if we can survive this invasion, it isn't like a toggle. The first man scout that manages to flee doesn't then set up constant invasions. It's just one invasion will arrive. If we can survive that, then all we have to do is make sure that no other man scouts survive from that point on. But the question is, are we going to survive it? It is a guarantee now that we are going to be invaded by some mant workers. So we're all going to have to keep our fingers crossed and hope that whatever doom does befall us, it's kind of like a sort of diluted sort of doom. A doom that we can survive, maybe with a few scars, an interesting story to tell, you know. Lady Gnomes love scars and interesting stories, I am told. But that is it for this episode. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you will join me for the next, which may be the last, who knows. But until then, do take care.